Hello, my name is Greg Dixon, your Chief Enabler and Kartra Whisperer, and today we're going to talk about creating opt-in forms with tags in Kartra. One of the most common things you'll do with your Kartra account is set up opt-in forms for newsletters or maybe download a book or sign up for something. And so this is quite common, and a very powerful feature in Kartra is the ability to put people into a list and add a tag. So I'm going to run through a quick demonstration of how to do that. So here we have the page here. It's under Forms, My Forms, and we're going to create a new one. So I'm going to generate a new one, and I'm going to call it something brilliant like sample opt-in form. And then in most things in Kartra, there's a series of dialog boxes. So here you can just take it to the first name and email. I always put at least a last name in there. I make it optional, but I really want to know the full name, and I'll often put in a phone number too as well. Phone number with country code. Um, my reasoning for this is if somebody doesn't want to give me their email and phone number, then they're probably not a good candidate for whatever I want to do with them anyway. So that's why I tend to add these kinds of things. And if you're worried about spamming, then the easiest thing to do is add a CAPTCHA field here, and what that does automatically puts it in the end. And in order for somebody to fill in the form, they need to enter in that code. There's a two. This is a two. There could be a two-stage um, registration where the Kartra will send a confirmation email, and they need to click on it. I think I much prefer to use just a simple entry here. They enter the CAPTCHA code, and then they just go through the screen and submit it once. So I think that all looks pretty good. Um, Press save here. So those are our fields, and then we go to the next one here. And then this is what I'm meaning, single opt-in or double opt-in. My preference is a single opt-in with a CAPTCHA code, and that gives you a pretty good protection against spam. And here, a success page. Um, one of the things in Kartra is you need to identify where you're going to send the traffic, and I'm just going to I didn't set something up in advance, so I'm just going to use a total traffic and conversion page here um, to their thank you page, and send a welcome message here. So this is where you would send a welcome, and I think you always should, and you have the option to send a text message sometimes, but here's is a email, um, and you can configure your uh, email address. It shows up when this arrives in the person's mailbox. It'll show up as Greg Dixon, and then with my reply to an email address, so that you can personalize it. You can put in whatever you want. Here's the email. I'm not going to go through the process of this, but you put in a heading and then a subheading that shows up in the preview pane, and then you can do either basic or advanced layouts. The purpose of this is we'll just do something simple here. Thanks for registering. Not really very brilliant. I'm just demonstration in there. And here what this dynamic variable is you can say, howdy. And then that puts in the person's name, and then yada, yada, yada. So that's where your copywriting brilliance kicks in here. And but we're not going to worry about that. Ooh, demonstration. There we go. You have the ability to send a test email to yourself, and probably should do that lots. Uh, and what happens in your email, if wherever it says first name here, you'll have a big test in there, and that's a way of making sure you haven't introduced a typo in here, because if you introduce a typo in there, it won't actually replace the name properly. Anyway, that's where, since we're not really demonstrating the editing, we're just going to go move on to the next stage here. And here's where all the important stuff happens. And so you can have it subscribe to a list. I almost always put somebody into a list, and create a new list, and we'll just say sample opt-in list. And just for the sake of completeness, I'll just put in just copy and paste that into the name too. Then we create it. So, and then you need to click the add to put it in there, because you can add it to more than one list. I think I tend to use one list for almost everything, and then use tagging to differentiate. But it depends on your application here. And then here's what the topic of our mission here was: to tag tag the person here. So you can create a new tag, and I'm just going to call sample opt-in. And then I'm going to create a new category here. You can use an existing category, whatever you have. I'm just going to create a new one. Demonstration. There we go. And there's an option to make this tag expire. That will come into play if you want to reassign somebody something later, but for the most of the time, you'll never bother with that. So I'm just going to add it. So again, I've added the opt-in. You can put as many tags in here as makes sense to you. My experience is generally one tag will be good. Let's say you have a certain event that they signed up for. You might have something specific like master class June 15th or something like that, so that you can identify something very specific. Or it could be just generic that they've just opted in, and you can relate it back to which form they used to opt in by what's in the tag. Here, there's other things. You can subscribe them to sequences or advanced automations. We're not going to deal with that in this video, because we're just dealing with the tags. And if that all looks good, then we save and next. And here it's asking, I'll use it in another Kartra asset, and save it. So what that means is most likely there'll be a landing page, and there'll be some sort of button, and you click on the button, and that pops up the opt-in screen. So anyway, so that's how we configure an opt-in form. So we had just to review. I go back here just to recap. We started the form. We selected which fields we wanted to the user to enter. We configured a very simple email thank you page, or a thank you message, and then it would go to a thank you page. And in the process, we assigned the person to a list, and we also assigned a tag. And so once somebody signed up, you can use that in a broadcast to go find anybody who has that tag or is a member of that list to send them a broadcast. And we will talk about that in a future email. But for now, here we are. We've got the input form, opt-in form configured.